Hey everyone, my name is Vivian and I'm Rosemary's dietitian. So today I just wanted to take you through some of the things to keep in mind when you're preparing a healthy meal or snack or drink for Rosemary. And I'll take you through a few things, but I think firstly, I know that hopefully you have seen Carmen, the speech pathologist video, and she would have shown you how to make the sandwich so that it is appropriate for Rosie's texture. So what I will talk more about is the nutrition side of things. So with every meal that Rosemary has, it's really important to keep in mind that we do want to make sure she gets balanced nutrition. So what that means is that she always gets some kind of carbohydrate. So that's things like breads, pasta, rice, potato, and then she also gets some kind of protein and some kind of vegetable. So I think the portions are really important. So I'll take you through that now. So firstly, as you can see on the screen, her diet is soft and bite-sized. And so if we are adding bread in, Rosie should have one slice of low glycemic index bread with the crust cut off and cut into the small bite-sized 1.5 by 1.5 pieces. So with low glycemic index bread, that just means that the bread is often higher in things like fiber and protein, and it doesn't impact her blood sugar levels as much. And that's just good for everyone across the board, but it's especially good for Rosie if she's, going out swimming and she needs sustained energy. So low glycemic index foods, or especially breads and pastas, are a really good option. So as you can see here, I've included the Wonder White high fiber bread. And you could also look for the low glycemic index symbols that's on certain packaging of breads and things like that. So that's a really good product to be looking into. Secondly, it's really good to make sure that you have a healthy protein. So this is things like either boiled or scrambled eggs, a tin of tuna, baked beans, like you saw in the video, and lentils with lots of sauce, or melted cheese, like the low lactose tasty cheese. So Rosemary is lactose intolerant, but most tasty cheeses, actually all tasty cheeses, are naturally low in lactose. So that's a really good protein and dairy option for Rosemary as well. With healthy protein, one serve of eggs is 2 boiled eggs. So you could boil 2 eggs, chop them up really small, and mix it in with her, sandwich meal. And you could also do the same thing for things like lentils with lots of sauce, like hummus or yogurt and things like that. And then lastly, we want to make sure that Rosemary has some kind of vegetable in her meal or sandwich. And with vegetables, it's really, really important that you stick to what Rosemary can have. So these include things like really soft or boiled and chopped up vegetables, such as the carrots, the cauliflower, and broccoli. So you can see in the picture, like Carmen would have said, you can mash up with your fork. So I know that, boiling a carrot that morning just to make one sandwich might take a lot of time. So what you could do is boil multiple carrots, or use the frozen carrots in the packs. Boil multiple carrots, and you can use, half a carrot or 1 carrot for each meal, as long as you heat it back up to make sure it's safe and not contaminated, and trying to not keep it for more than 24 to 48 hours. Just so that it's not, it doesn't have any like bacteria growth or anything like that. So generally with vegetables, we want half of her sandwich to be vegetables. So that's actually quite a lot. And the reason for this, it does have lots of fiber, lots of nutrition and vitamins. And it just makes the meal, more colorful and more beautiful to eat. So I think all these things is really important to Rosie, because making sure that there's a meal that is good looking and, has different colors and different flavors is still really, really important. as well as the obvious benefits of just having the vegetables with the fiber, helping with her bowels and things like that. So lastly, it is really good to also make sure there is some kind of healthy oil or sauce. One, definitely from a nutrition perspective. So a lot of these healthy oils actually give her more, satiation. So they make her feel more satisfied and fulfilled. But also they've got really healthy oils, which is good for her heart, her brain, and lots of other different things around her body. But secondly, not from a nutrition perspective, as Carmen said, it is really important to make sure that her meals are moist and soft. And so it is good to choose things like, avocado, extra virgin olive oil. You can use pesto, hummus, lactose-free yogurt, all the different sauces to mix it up. Generally, I probably wouldn't recommend as much like the store-bought sauces because they often are quite high in salts and also just don't have much nutrition in it. So if you need to, you could make up, your own. You could, just buy a packet of hummus, or you could mix it up with different flavors with herbs and spices. And that would definitely still be delicious and much more nutritious for Rosemary. So these are the few things to keep in mind when you are thinking about how to make up a sandwich for Rosie. So I guess one thing, not just for her sandwiches, but in terms of all her meals, it's really important, even for dinner, to make sure that she's getting a balanced meal. I know you guys often use a slow cooker, and there often is quite a few different vegetables in it, but I think it's good to know how to make it up so the proportions and the proportions of the meal are well balanced. So as you can see here, half the meal or half your food or half the recipe should be some kind of vegetable. So obviously there are some things in here that won't be appropriate for Rosie, like, raw salad leaves and, things like raw beetroot or raw carrot, but a lot of things could be. So you could, boil the cauliflower or the broccoli, make sure it's soft and cut them up really small so that it mushes and can be flattened as per Carmen's video. And also, you could cook up a few, like I said before, and then keep it for other meals. But at least half of your recipe should be vegetables for Rosie. And then the next quarter here would be, again, like we talked about, the low glycemic index carbohydrate. So things like the bread in her sandwich, rice or pasta, or even things like potato. So corn isn't appropriate for her because it's too fibrous. But things like potato, sweet potato, those are really good options as well. And that would account for a quarter of her meal. And lastly, we've got a quarter remaining, which would be lean protein. So things like egg, fish, really, really soft meats, soft chicken, tofu, and like flaky fish like tuna, things like that. So these are really good sources of protein, and they give her lots of different nutrition. They give her, fish oil has different healthy fats, and same for eggs. So I think eggs is definitely a very important source of nutrition that Rosie can have a bit more because it's easy, it's high in protein, high in different nutrition, and also appropriate for her soft and bite-sized diet. So how you determine the portion is, say, if you were giving her a chicken, it would be, half a chicken breast or a chicken thigh, but obviously cooked for a long time and cut up really, really small. And sometimes if need be, like, cutting off all the gristly bits and all the bits that cannot be softened. So making sure that she still gets these kinds of meats in her diet. And just a side note here as well, there is extra virgin olive oil and avocado as healthy fat. So, making sure when you are cooking her meal that those kinds of fats are included in her diet. And then lastly, just on this side, there's a note on water. So with Rosie, I know she's a pretty good drinker, but she just needs to be reminded to drink. And another reason that fluids are really good because she's not on any thickened fluids. It means it's a really good source of nutrition and hydration that she can get in. So for water, we generally recommend 1.5 to around 2.5 liters for Rosie. And that, equates to nearly at least 6 cups of fluids in the day. So that's at least 1 cup with every main meal and 1 with every mid meal. So with water, I know Rosie may not always want to just drink plain water. So it's really good to get her a variety of different fluids. And I know that you guys have tried to swap out the sugar drinks, which is great. So it's just about prioritizing water or the Twinings infusion tea bag, so caffeine-free and sugar-free fruit drinks, and also some high calcium, high protein smoothies, which I will try to get up to show you. So hopefully you can see here that most of the fluid should come from water. And these were the cold infused tea bags I was talking about. But for Rosie, it's really, really important that she tries to get enough calcium and protein in her diet as well, because that can help her build stronger bones and give her the nutrition such as, the protein in the lactose-free milk that she needs. So I've provided some recipes that you can try follow. And I've tried one of these smoothies with Rosie, and she really liked it, and she finished the whole cup. So it's really good to aim for at least 1 smoothie per day. So you can see how it will have, 1 serve of fruit and a dairy. And this will give her the calcium, the protein, and fiber. And the easy thing is with blending everything, you just put it all together, blitz it real quick, and that's it. You don't have to worry too much about, is it soft enough, things like that. So this is just a quick, easy way to get in the nutrition that she needs and in a way that's best for her. So she's got, the tropical banana, frozen mango, and the lactose-free milk or soy milk. You could also do chocolate flavored drinks, which uses cacao powder, or you could also use just normal baking cocoa powder. That's also very low in sugar. And you can make like a chocolate smoothie with these ingredients as well. So with smoothies, essentially you can make it up as long as you get the formula of having a serve of fruit and a serve of dairy. Then that will help as well to get her the nutrition she needs. And then the last recipe here is just a little fun drink that is just pretty much blended fruits and a little bit of soda water. But that would still be a sometimes drink. I wouldn't have this every day just because soda water is still, not the best drink she can be having when she can be having more nourishing drinks that aren't so, erosive for her oral health. So that is kind of that's all I want to cover today. Hopefully kept it nice and short. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask Kirsten and she can collect some questions and bring them to me. But essentially just really prioritizing her main meals, so her sandwiches and her dinners, so that they are well balanced and that they do have all the nutrition she needs, as well as prioritizing her fluids, making sure she's getting the calcium and dairy and fruits throughout the day through a smoothie. So that's it from me. Thank you.